Hey, it's Michael Saul, but everybody calls me Tiny, and this video is extended and frothy, but will we pull back before the end of the year? Plus 3 stocks to watch, and just a heads up, 2 of those stocks are on the short side. This is stock market analysis for the week of October 16th, 2017. If you would like to receive intra-week updates from me, go to www.attackthemarkets.com, put in your first name and best email address, and then click the Sign Me Up button. You'll then have to go to the email you used to sign up, look for an email from me, and click on the link in there. That confirms that it was you and not one of those nasty, evil bots that prowl around the internet signing up randomly into opt-in forms. And then you'll be on the list and you'll get my intra-week updates. All right, so frothy and extended. Let's talk about that for a second. As you see, the market continued to move up. Last week, the title of my video was a pullback is coming or something like that, something about looking for a pullback. It didn't happen. I mean, if you count this day, maybe, but there was no pullback. I'm looking, when I'm talking about a pullback, I'm looking for something like this, or like this, or like this, or even like this. I mean, even though it was only a couple of days, all right? I mean, maybe something like this, but this is more like a pause. I'm looking for more of a pullback. And it's not because I'm a bear. Please, I get the emails and the stupid comments on the YouTube channel. Oh, you're calling for a crash. I'm not calling for a crash. I'm calling for a pullback. If you don't know how the market works, I'm going to give you the quick explanation. Okay? The equity markets are mean reverting. Let me say that. And a bunch of other markets also, not just the equity markets. But they're mean reverting. Okay, that means that when we get too extended from an average or a mean, we usually revert back there. I am not looking for a huge change of trend, a huge bear market, a huge correction. Just looking for a pullback. And to answer the question in the title of this video, yeah, I do think we pull back before the end of the year. Okay? Again, I don't think it's a crash or anything of that sort, but I do think we get a pullback. We are really extended up here, and when you get like this, I mean, it's just unsustainable. Now, could this be a same direction flag? Okay, so this is an impulse, and usually a flag goes against the grain or sideways. This is actually going with the direction of the impulse. That it could be a very strong setup here, and we could decide to just boom, power out of this. But I believe there will be a pullback, and I believe that pullback will be an opportunity to get on board for an end of year move. I do think that we're going to go higher into the end of year, but I believe it is a more quantifiable or safer method to wait for a pullback than to try to just keep buying new highs. Now, of course, if you bought new highs here, you're happy. Even if you bought new highs here, you're a little happy because at least it's up, right? But so I'm not saying it never works, but me, I like to wait for consolidations or pullbacks and look to get on board that way. Here's the NASDAQ. Okay, also at new highs, also looking for a pause, pullback there. Look at the Russell, right? Something like this. Nice pullback. This is just on what you would call a bull flag. Okay, this is what against the grain looks like. This is what with the trend, with the impulse looks like, okay? So the Russell, could it go down a little more? Yeah, I'd like to see it come down a little bit more, maybe hit the 20 EMA, look for a reversal candle, but sure, I guess you could start watching right here to see if it resumes the move. Here's the mid caps. They pushed up to a new high, but reversed, and the Dow just looks like the S&P. Looks a little stronger than the S&P, but not much. If we're looking at sectors, we have the semiconductors with the doji up at the highs. It's an indecision candle. Again, extended here. Clad tanker hasn't hit the highs yet. Could this be a little 2B top and then a pullback, or can it bust through and go? Here's Intel consolidating up here. How about like a NVIDIA? NVIDIA up at the highs there. How about like an ADI? Looks like it's going for the highs as well. Banks. So the banks, a lot of people were talking about how the banks were looking weak after this push down to the 200-day, but recovered, went up, hit a new high, and is now pulling back from here right around the key 100 level. Here's Bank of America with a reversal on Friday after it hit the 20 EMA. Here's JP Morgan, Citigroup. They all look okay. Citigroup had a nasty day on Thursday, relatively speaking, okay, for the stock. But watch to see if it continues down, to see how that 50-day moving average holds. Here's the broker-dealer. A nice little bull flag here. Looks like the IWM, doesn't it? Back down to the 20 EMA for Goldman. Let's see if this holds and we reverse. And we push higher off of it. Here's Morgan, right below the 20. See if it gets down to the 50 or it's good. Here's like a Legg Mason, just consolidating here. Legg Mason usually flies a little under the radar for these broker dealers, but you can watch right here and see if it pops up out of this consolidation or not. Okay. How about the biotechs? Biotechs had the flag pushed up. They're in another little flag. Excuse me there. BIIB, Monster. Gilead, more consolidating, but watch it to see if it releases from this. Here's Labu, which is just the leveraged move. Just a beautiful move out of this triangle break. Now more than a double here, 125% or whatever it was up there when it was 90. Let's look at some of the stocks I like to watch every week. Caterpillar still just a complete monster. It doesn't move as quick as some of the big tech stocks, but what a move. John Deere, we talked about weeks ago with this setup. See if it gets up to the highs here. Here's Amazon. Looks like it may want to make a move towards this high, but does have a little ledge of resistance right here into the 118 number. How about the Alphabet? Alphabet at new highs, but a reversal. So see if that holds or not. Here's Apple, still scraping under the 50-day moving average here as potential resistance. Netflix up at the highs. How about the Facebook? Yeah, still consolidating here. Definitely not in a sell signal by any means, but I want to see more commitment if it does decide to break here. Tesla, always a popular one. Always get a lot of questions via email about Tesla. Right now, it's just consolidating here. So what I would do with this is I would take the trend line here and move the trend line to here and see what we got. So it's consolidating here. See if it pops up or not out of there. All right, let's look at bonds. Yeah, back to the 50-day moving average. A lot of people calling for a bond rally. I'm still not seeing it. Oil is still sloppy. I thought after it got below the 50-day, it would resume. The correction would be over. But right now, it's consolidating. If it breaks to the upside, look for a measured move up to 11 to complete this A to B and then end of B to C move. Okay, how about gold? Yeah, gold back over the 50-day moving average, and gold miners are tapping on 24. Remember what I say about my friend Mike Swanson? He always says people get interested in gold miners when they get above 24. Recap time. I believe a pullback will happen before the end of year, and I believe that will be a buying opportunity. However, this is an in the direction of the momentum flag, which could be a powerful sign to move. Not everything is looking that way. You have the Russell going a little against the grain, still okay, still a flag. And you have the NASDAQ, which really doesn't have anything yet, but it may want to consolidate. It's not a short signal up here, but if you're trading intraday or you're looking to be really aggressive on the swing trade, you could look for potential short opportunities. But I would look for the weaker stocks that are exhibiting strength now and look for that to fail. But again, I believe it's wait for the pullback and look to get on board for a ride up for an end-of-year move. Let's take a look at the three stocks for this week. The first one is Finisar Corporation. I think I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm probably not because I usually butcher these names. And it is not really a bear flag per se, but it is a consolidation at recent lows. If this breaks down and moves lower, look for a move down to the 15s from here. Could get there. Here is Macam Technology Solutions Holdings. Again, similar pattern. This does have the impulse with the gap. If this clicks out, look for it to, or triggers out, I don't know why I say clicks out, look for the 35 area, 35 and a half area, and then along. Okay, this is Emerge Energy Services. So this has been a pretty big downtrend from up here at, 24.5 down to just under 6. Then it showed a little spring of life and a little zigzag pattern back to the 50-day moving average. If this holds and we can rotate and move off of it, look for a test up to the 200-day moving average. Questions? I have answers for you. You just have to write me at tiny@attackthemarkets.com. Don't forget to give this video a like so I move up the rankings. Don't forget to sign the list. It's free if you want intra-week updates. Have a great trading week. I'll talk to you via email or in next week's video.